New this morning, President Biden calling on his trade representatives to consider tripling the tariff rate on steel and aluminum imports from China. Joining us right now is Council of Economic Advisors Chairman Jared Bernstein. Good morning to you, Jared. It's great to see you. Let's talk about this plan because it is a big increase, if you will, in what that tariff looks like and what the impact will be. We've talked about what it may mean for folks in the U.S. in terms of the manufacturing piece, but it also could have an impact on consumers.
Well, great to be with you this morning, Andrew. Ever since I've worked with President Biden, and I've been with him for a while now, he's recognized the importance of investing in American manufacturing, and he's followed through on that as no modern president has before him. And American steel, which, by the way, is among the cleanest, lowest emission steel produced in the world, is key to our manufacturing agenda. It's also the case that we have to protect those investments and the workers who make that steel from unfair exports associated with China's industrial overcapacity. And that's what's behind what you just described, his directing our trade representative to consider tripling the steel tariffs on China specifically.
Can you speak, though, we were talking earlier about, we're struggling with inflation in this country, which I want to talk about more broadly in a moment. But sure. To the extent that this could have an inflationary impact on the price of steel, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that going to trickle down to the consumer? Isn't it going to trickle through the economy?
Always important to make that consideration right now, as cutting inflation and cutting prices, in fact, is a key priority of ours. So in many ways, this is a targeted intervention that shouldn't have much impact at all on inflation. It's the case that the amount of Chinese steel that we import is actually quite small at this point. But given their investment in excess capacity and particularly the high emissions, the high carbon emissions inherent in their steel, this intervention is important in a preventative sense. I'm sure you're well aware of the problem with that economists have taken called the China shock. This is what happens when you ignore a country that excessively exports excess capacity, excess savings back into our country, leading to a real hollowing out of manufacturing during the 2000s. We want to get ahead of that curve in this case, take action that we don't think is going to have much inflationary impact at all, given the magnitudes involved. But if we don't take action, we're putting at risk one of our most critical sectors, what the president calls the backbone of the American economy, a bedrock of our national security, and that's domestic steel production.
Jared, on the broader topic of inflation, can we just talk about how this administration thinks about inflation right now, and really in the context of the campaign? Look, the trend lines were all going, it seemed like, in the right direction, and that was a narrative and a story that was positive for the administration to tell. It's now going the opposite direction. When you look at it in a sort of totality way over the last 3.5 years, it is true that there are large parts of this country where wages have not kept up with inflation. And so no matter what happens, they're going to look at this period and say that they are behind, not ahead. How do you speak to that to
Sure.
the extent that you have thought that there's an argument that the administration would make around it?
Well, first of all, let me just argue with you about one point there, which is on real wage gains. So for the last 13 months, real wages for middle wage workers on a year-over-year basis have beat inflation and beat it by a good bit. That's one of the reasons why we've had such a strong recovery in GDP and consumer spending. So it's critically important right now that as inflation has eased, and you're correct that it has that pace has slowed, but of course it was 9%. Now it was last seen at 3.5%. That's below the rate of wage growth. So wage growth beating price growth. We have to look at the various sectors, get under the hood. Shelter prices, which have been such a pressure on inflation, we continue to try to implement an agenda to lower housing costs. And in fact, housing costs have come down. If we look at the cost of goods, of commodities, and again, that's related to our discussion we're having today, the improvement in supply chains has really helped there. Where we've seen some pressure is on the services side. Here we have a very strong labor market, again, solid wage growth that's beating price growth. And some of those service components have, I think, been unusually high lately. If you look at auto insurance, if you look at medical services, some of those we expect to come down. So look, the dominant forecast is still for inflation to get back on trend and continue easing. In the meantime, we have to do everything we can to lower costs directly, whether it's insulin, prescription drugs, healthcare,
Right.
clean energy products, or for that matter, going after junk fees everywhere we see them. That's an aggressive agenda that we're going to pursue.
Jared, but here's the piece that I think is hard to get around, and I'm just curious what you're thinking, which is, yes, over the last 13 months, wages have outpaced inflation for many Americans. What I'm suggesting is that even with that, it doesn't make up for the 2 years prior. And so, we look at people look at the data and they say all the trends are in the right direction, but then to the extent you see it in the polls, you see Americans say that they feel that they are worse off than they were before. My question is, look, I just think that's the math, for better or worse. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm not 100% sure what you're getting at. So we've had, we obviously had a very sharp inflationary episode. It wasn't just us. It was a global inflation, very much an impact of the pandemic and of geopolitical conflicts. And, that inflation went way up and it's come way down. Now, we're not back where we need to be. We have more work to do. But I don't see any other path for us than continue to work to lower prices on behalf of households while we maintain the tightest job market we've seen. As you well know, Andrew, there were economists telling us there's no way you're going to be able to maintain an unemployment rate below 4% for 26 months in a row and get, almost 6 points of disinflation. But in fact, that's what happened. So that strikes me as the correct agenda here, to maintain the strong economy while doing everything we can to help lower costs. Now, if that's the correct plan, getting back to your question, we ought to see sentiment indicators improve as those trends persist. And in fact, we have. Now, again, we're not back to where we need to be, but if you look at, say, the UMich, University of Michigan Sentiment Index, it's up 30% over the past 4 months. That suggests to me that this plan is, in fact, tracking as we'd expect it to.